Readings may provide insights into potential future events or trends, allowing you to be better prepared and make proactive choices. It's important to remember that the future is not set in stone, and you ultimately have the power to shape your own path. Entertainment and enjoyment. Some people simply enjoy the entertainment value of psychic and tarot readings. It can be a fun and interesting experience, even if you don't take the predictions too seriously. Before calling into any show or seeking a psychic reading, it's essential to approach it with an open mind and maintain a healthy level of skepticism. Remember that psychic readings are subjective and based on interpretations, and it's up to you to determine how much weight you give to the information provided.
Bob Charles would like to introduce your hosts, Jamie and Maggie Clark, to all our listeners who are ready for a change today. So listen. Our planet needs love. Are listeners here ready to love? Allow Jamie and Maggie explain this to everyone. Love is something that we all seek in our lives. It's a powerful emotion that can bring us comfort, joy, and peace. But how does the universe give us love? Is it through its beauty, nature, or something else? In this show, we'll explore how the universe gives us love and how we can use this knowledge to jumpstart our lives. We'll discuss different ways to connect with the universe and receive its love. From meditation and mindfulness to gratitude practices and self-care. We'll also explore why it's important to open ourselves up to receiving the love of the universe in order to experience true happiness. Jamie Clark and Maggie Clark, both psychics and tarot experts, can help you change your life path for joy and happiness. They understand the power of unconditional love and its ability to transform lives. With their psychic abilities, they can guide you to find the right path that will bring you joy and happiness. They can also help you recognize patterns in your life that may be holding you back from achieving your goals. With their guidance, you can learn how to take control of your destiny and create a life filled with love and abundance. Pyramid One World Radio Network aims to address important global issues and promote positive change. It may have the potential to influence listeners and contribute to making a difference in the world. Educational programs, interviews with experts, discussions on social or environmental topics, or content that encourages empathy, understanding, and activism can all have an impact on individuals' attitudes and behaviors. However, it is important to remember that real change requires more than just listening to a radio show. Taking action, engaging in critical thinking, seeking out diverse perspectives, and participating in real-world initiatives are also crucial steps in making a difference. Listening to informative and thought-provoking content can be a part of the process, but it's essential to combine it with Jamie and Maggie Clark's practical efforts and personal involvement to create lasting change in your world. Lend us your minds and attention. Your time is now.
Beautifully said. Good job.
Mamma mia.
Man. Hey, and before we were kind of getting going, excuse me, I don't know if Diane has a TV on, but we were hearing voices, and Mag was saying it was almost as if somebody was a preacher person talking to the people. Did
Yeah,
you?
well, she's got one on over there, and I keep saying, turn it down.
Okay, that's perfect. I just wanted to make sure. That's why we're questioning going, well, we didn't hear anything, but we're hearing those voices. I'm hearing voices. What
You're
the?
always hearing voices.
Yep. And people
Oh,
seek me out. They don't fear me. That's the
oh,
point.
y'all better watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't hear the voices. Like,
And that's when you can always, as I always say, always be skeptical, question everything, just be practical, just be open. You
I
get
do-
enough of that solid validation, it's more validating.
I do that all the time. I probably get in more trouble that way.
Yeah. It's interesting, but excuse me, in what the aspect was saying about the future is not set in stone, but as a psychic, which we both are, and everyone has the ability, but I kind of refer to us as a quantum road sign. If you take this direction, most likely you're going to get this end result. You take this direction, you're most likely going to get that end result. So,
And
to
if
me,
you follow your heart, you'll always find joy.
and in that, with all those realities, they're all happening now. What are you going to choose to focus on? What we think about and our attention to those thoughts creates vibrations of information. And from that quantum level, we're bringing that particular vibration up to the surface of consciousness as we perceive it reality. And you'll begin to live that experience. Those who talk about lack, living it. Those who talk about abundance are living it. And you don't see successful people going to saying they're a failure.
Well, another reason that why I brought up love in the intro. There are so many people now running around saying, "Oh, I can't find love, and I need a date, and this and that." I mean, I hear these things, and it's like, I would say, who knows? Maybe it's just because it's Florida or something. I don't know.
No, I hear it all the time too.
Do you really? I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it's the thing that I mean, I've said this. I don't know whether I'm going to get in trouble for it later on, but I always say to somebody, you don't have to go out and find love. Love will find you. You have to love you first.
Absolutely.
And then they go, wait a minute. What do you mean love me first? What am I, weird?
You cannot give what you do not have.
But I know, but I mean, how many people that turn around and think that that's weird?
That's the old school. That's narcissism. You can't be giving yourself love. It's like, really? How can I give what I don't have? So when we can have that practicality of spirituality, that love vibe, everyone is connected to it. Everyone has the ability to connect.
We had a guy, not a guy, a girl, a real one. Go the other day, and she went like crazy when they said that. I mean, I was talking, they were talking about the thing, and then I happened to step into the conversation because they had asked me a question, and all of a sudden I was there.
Shit.
It's one of them, like, it's like going to a what's a shooting range or something like that. You put up the target. Why? Because it's there. That's why I'm going to shoot it. Okay.
But also look at how many people are open for the love vibe. They don't know. Hey, I want some of that energy in my life. And just like you guys, I have a lot of people who come to me and they're like, well, I don't know what unconditional love is. I don't know what that is. And then my response is, well, have you ever seen a newborn baby? Have you ever seen an animal? Because more than likely you accept them exactly as they are and allow them to grow into that. And that unconditional love is the complete acceptance for who they are as that being. And they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, just connect with it.
It bugs me, and you heard it in the intro, and that I did say unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
We're not Fido, but we have unconditional love. It's built in. Come on, man. All these models. I mean, they're walking around on two legs. I'm sorry, it wasn't an option. It came standard. It's crazy. Why do they say that? I mean, why do they turn around and go, I don't have no unconditional. I said, don't be stupid, for crying out loud. I said, you're talking to me, aren't you? Then you must have unconditional.
That's good.
I mean, it's serious. I mean, see how you guys are laughing? They do the same thing in that. They laugh too in it. But I mean, it's not like being a comedian or anything else. It's just bringing out something that's a truism that you don't that's why you laugh about it, because you didn't know it was there, or you didn't know, you didn't think of it in that light.
Well, emotional intelligence is not something we develop culturally either. This
No.
is something we learn on the fly. And most of the time we don't even know how to even identify what we feel when we feel things. And then some of us just repress everything and then they blow up. Some of us just blow up and then go, oops, let me pick up some pieces. This is emotional intelligence is something that is it's a skill set, to learn how to allow yourself and surrender to feeling and how you can receive that. And we're not good at receiving. I mean, I had to learn this the hard way. I'm still learning this. I think I'm still learning how to love even more every day. There are days I'm still hard on myself. There are days I still, find I'm like, whoa, I'm not bringing in enough love here. So I feel like that's something that we could all work on, we could all focus on, and we can all learn how to surrender, to feel, to allow our hearts to open to ourselves, to others. It's just a little bit of a foreign teaching or concept until we get the hang of it and it feels right and it feels good and we see the benefit from that.
Yeah, how many do, I mean, Maggie, you seem to understand. Jamie, you know that, forget it. but Maggie's got it. But there isn't like one kind of love. There's many types of love based on you who's supposed to love yourself. So of course it's like, it's like a hand. Okay. Here's the regular everyday love. This is us. We were born with this. It came standard with the model. In a sense, maybe it's a Model A. I don't know. Anyway, so it's this one, and then you got this one. Do I love what I'm doing? Number 2, do I love going fishing, the sport? Do I love the sport? Do I love
this country?
Right.
Do I
Right.
love God? Do I love
Right,
yes.
right. So those come after it. Now, when you love someone, you realize you're doing this. You're putting them all together and aiming in one direction.
That energy is what I always refer to as love of itself already is unconditional. That's why all of these aspects of love are happening. I always share the fact to go, the moment that you say unconditional love, you've just put a condition on it.
Exactly. It's like making a fist, though, because you're taking all those loves and aiming it at one person. And that one,
she loved me.
I
feel safe.
Don't punch the other person. No, you.
I don't think we're going to try that later. But...
Right here, have some love.
I'm just loving you.
But see, that symbolic tends to happen because too much can scare people and they retract. They're not willing to grasp those spiritual aspects or love or connections in other ways. So they'll sometimes distance themselves so that they don't have to feel like they're having to try to find the love. They can just be.
Yeah, but how about those that are like sponges? You know what I mean? They're dry, man. They want love. I mean, it could be anything. It could be get somebody a flower, open the door, open the car door, say good morning. All these things. These are just little itsy bitsy pieces of love that we don't know we give out all the time, but there are people that need it. Yeah. And the worst part about the whole thing is people who need it don't tell you they need it.
Sometimes they don't know.
Yeah, well, but they still have that. They still have that. I mean, I can read people from 20 feet away. I mean, it's like, yeah, that one there needs a pat on the back or a good morning or whatever.
At least you know who you're dealing with. That's excellent.
Yeah, I'm serious. I mean, it's like maybe I just sense it or something. I mean, let's face it. I grew up in. Oh man, I'm telling you, I wasn't dragged up, but boy, I tell you, man, I could have been on the back of a bumper of a car easy.
Nice, going for a ride.
For a ride.
But
listen,
I think
we got a phone person here.
Let's check it out.
On the meantime, though, guess who's back?
Oh,
Anonymous.
Oh yeah.
Anonymous.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah, we got to be ready for that one.
Cool. Yeah. Let's see if they even want to share.
Let's take a caller.
I remember that. Yep.
Okay, Anonymous, it's yours. Go ahead, do it.
Hi, Jamie, Maggie, can you hear me, Bob?
Oh,
yes, we sure can.
Okay. Thank you for taking my call. I have a question. I'm going to do my best to try to put this into words, but lately, the last couple of years for me, I don't know if it's all that's going on in the world or what, but I've just been feeling so lost, and I'm struggling to narrow down and pinpoint what it is that I need, like what it is what it is I should be doing. I know I'm a healer, and my healing career has evolved over the years, but the last few years, it feels like things are just at a standstill for me. So I don't know if that's normal, if other people are going through that, experiencing that, or if it's just me or what. So do you have any insight as to, well, number one, what do you see anything coming up for me? What do you see coming up for me this year, in the next few months, in terms of like work-related things, and also with finance? That's my question.
What was the last one?
Finance.
Finance. Okay. All right.
Finance and work-related, like this year, what do you see coming up?
One, if you haven't had
Yeah.
somebody either that you've worked with before, that you've worked for in some way, that's come back to you with a potential opportunity, don't be surprised when that happens. Now, as I always say, just because anything's offered doesn't mean you have to even entertain it, but it's strong enough in your energy that I'm picking up to go, if you don't choose whatever is offered, great, that's perfect. And if you do what you're doing, it's because you choose to, not because you have to. And I am seeing so many more people waking up to go, man, no, I'm very successful in this way, but I just feel like there's more. I don't know what, but there's more. And I'm like, well, good, congratulations. And I always share the fact that if you don't know what you want to do, where you want to go, or what you want to be, then how do you want to feel from this direction? Happy, fulfilled, connected, directed, empowered, any of those connections, and giving it that life fullness as if it's there before it's already there. Because as a healer, as soon as you said healer, I'm like, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to, but I just feel like that's a big part of what's going to be coming up for you. First, you, like us, had to start with yourself. Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm no longer a hypocrite. I'll always be of service to others, and I keep myself included. That was a big thing, because after many years, I was like, wait a minute. I'm helping others. I'd better be helping myself. Otherwise, I'm going old school. Do as I say, not as I do. I'm like, nah, frick that. I'll live my truth the best that I can. And more people are having this connection. I will just say, one, besides that business opportunity, that healing modality is going to start to amp up. It's going to start to kind of embrace your soul print of consciousness. And don't be surprised when you just kind of open up to life more and things will just happen for you. In the beginning, it's lucky and coincidence, and you'll be like, yeah, luck. Sure, there is no luck. But when they can see that you're manifesting above the surface of consciousness, they see that tip of the iceberg that you're creating as the magic point. They don't see below the surface of consciousness and all the life experience and tools and techniques that you built upon to get to that point. So I feel like, one, you've got a lot of love to share. Two, you are in that reconnection mode to go, one, you had to find yourself first, realize you're 100% a person and complete, and now you can share that with other people. And if anything, they can walk away from your presence feeling loved, feeling empowered, and feeling connected. And the good thing is you just have to be you. Now, it doesn't mean you have to, but I will just say that healing energy, strong for you. And you are very intuitive as well. So it doesn't mean you have to go be a professional psychic, but your ability to read that and that healing modality, I think that you probably get those vibrational patterns of energy to go, oh, I feel like if we'll move in this direction, it might help this. And you're just vibing it. You're feeling that connection. So the good thing is keep going. Great thing is you might be doing multiple things at once.
And I must say, you are not the only one dealing with the exact question that you just answered, because I, last week, have been dealing with the exact frequency. And I don't know what's in the water. I think there's a couple of things happening. One, I feel like when COVID came around, everyone was afraid. It shut down a lot of healing work for people because we were isolated, we were separated. There was so much fear around being close to each other. And I feel now that is clearing out. It's, moving away from mass consciousness a little bit. I feel like where healers are coming out of the closet, I literally just reactivated my healing energy and my healing business, opening up more time to do sessions for people. And honestly, I've been struggling with the same thing. Is this really what I'm supposed to be doing, or should I be doing something else? And when it comes down to it, when you know that you're good at healing and you know you're a healer and you have an opportunity to heal, sees it, because the world needs more people healing each other, more people loving each other, more people just being present with one another. Now, I did throw down some cards for you, and the first focus card here is the Seven of Wands, which is the card of courage, saying muster it up and go like, okay, how do I muster up my courage? How do I muster up the energy to move forward, to make a path, to carve a path, to say yes to opportunities, to say yes to myself? We do have the Wheel of Fortune as the first card of what you're building upon. And when that card shows up, it's an important card to connect us, one, to our path and purpose, but also to a bigger picture, and keeping that bigger picture in mind. It's a card of like richness and abundance and moving things to new levels. So for you to go back into the healing work or reactivate healing energy in a new capacity or in an old capacity, but any activation here, having the courage to put forward some energy and say yes. And I feel like you have already said yes. I feel like, because this isn't a past position, this Wheel of Fortune, I feel like you've already made a decision. This is how you would like to serve, how you would like to show up in the world, and what it is that you would want to do. I feel like in your heart, you probably have already said yes to this. So now let's look at the present reality. You have the Four of Cups. You also are coupling this with the Four of Pentacles. Now, these two cards, when they come together, a lot of times we have to overcome the stagnant energy that we're feeling. And trust me, I've been feeling that too, so you're not alone with that. The Four of Cups is opening up your heart again, opening up that ability to share that space with people from a heart level, and to open up and maybe do some own healing work on yourself, so anything that is stuck or stagnant on an emotional level can be freed up, because the Four of Pentacles also wants to shift and free up any stagnant energy, but that's already in place. I feel like you've already got the ball rolling to free up the stagnant energy. Just focus on, what does it look like so I feel emotionally secure and sound and solid while I move forward, while I take these action steps, because the outcome is the Nine of Pentacles, where you are returning back home to yourself. This is your frequency, your wavelength, and tidy anything up that you want to end before moving forward into these new opportunities. Some of the action steps sometimes is like, okay, what do I clear off my plate? Or what can I say? Okay, I'm done with this. I'm ready to reactivate. So it's a couple things when you return home to yourself, and also say, okay, I'm done with not knowing. I'm done with doubting myself. I'm going to speak for my own truth now. I'm not going to project this onto you. I'll just say what I've been dealing with, and maybe this rings true to you. One, am I good enough? Do I have what it takes to have a successful practice again? Am I willing to, really make this a priority and to step into this energy when it has been stagnant or latent for so long? So the answer is always yes if you want it to be yes. But I agree with Jamie when you said healer. Bells, whistles, fire alarms went off in my head saying, yes, absolutely. I feel like that would give you the most sense of self and the most richness for you right now.
Okay, thank you. That was really helpful. As far as an elevator speech goes, when people ask you, what do you do? Do you like what is your elevator speech? Because that's something that I struggle with. Like, I don't know what to say, like as an energy healer, like what's that? Or, I don't know how to word it. Like, what do you say when people ask you what you do?
Oh God, I have come up with like a gazillion elevator speeches in the last, 12 years or 13 or 14. I don't even know how long I've been doing this work. But I've come up with a gazillion, and I change them all the time, because I'm always thinking, how do I get people to understand this, like right off the bat? And I've given up on that, by the way.
Right.
I've just given up. I think right now, consciously, you could say, I'm an energy healer. I help shift and move energy that's stuck within your system to help free it up to its natural life flow, or its natural flow of energy. So that is like a nice little one sentence. That's what I do. I help free up stuck energy, help undam it within your system where it's been locked, stuck, where you don't feel like you have freedom within your system. That can be a generality of all energy healing. And depending on what type of energy healing you do, if you're a Reiki practitioner, you can kind of lean into some Reiki language. If you are I practice Jin Shin Jitsu, so I'll lean into some Jin Shin Jitsu language at times or some cranial sacral language at times. But really with energy healing, you're like, hey, everything is energy. So every thought we have is an energy, and thoughts create words, create deeds, and it becomes manifested in our lives and in our bodies. And sometimes we like what's manifesting, and sometimes, oh, I would like to get rid of that thought or that energy. So energy healing can help shift the paradigms, the old patterns that we've been working under to make room for new patterns. So think about who you are as a person. Think about who you are as a healer. Think about your own personal modalities that you like to play in. And then write some things down, just free flow. Just sit down in a meditation, talk to your spirit team, say, hey guys, I'd like some inspiration today on how to language this. And then call a couple of your friends and be like, hey, does this make sense to you? Let me read this to you and see what they say. See, like, well, I don't understand what the heck you're talking about. I don't know how many times I've been told that. And we think an elevator speech, we need it to be like 10 words is best, right? 10 words is best. There is a book by Eric Newsom, and because I'm a podcaster, and it's called Make Some Noise. And this is it's a podcast book, but it does help us narrow down who our audience is, right? Because you have to know, one, who's your audience, not necessarily your audience because you're not being podcasting, but who is your best client? What are they looking for? Are they looking for pain relief? Are they looking to shift energy? Are they looking to tap into their heart? Who is your ideal audience? And speak to them. Speak to those people that you want to work with, because every healer is different, and every person, I don't want to work with everybody. There's a lot of people that I don't want to work with because they don't really want what I'm offering. They're, old school, just give me a magic pill and I'm great. Okay, go to the doctor for that. That's not what this is. I'm going to have you do homework. I'm going to send you home with homework. Like I have a certain type of person that I want to work with that really has a drive to help themselves too. So that's going to be in my language. Like, I'm going to help you to help yourself. I'm going to give you tools. I'm going to help shift energy, but then I'm going to ask you to do some of that homework too. So again, find and really think about who is your ideal client, who is your ideal, and that is what we would call, if you read this book, it's what you would call your audience. And then try to figure out 10 words that describe, how do I take a situation with my ideal client and say, hey, are you having problems with XYZ? And do you want to transform and become ABC? And you get to fill in those blanks based on who you really want to work with. And that right there, and take your time with this. Might take months for you to do. It might take weeks, because this is not an easy exercise to narrow something down to like 10 or 15 words, but try it. Really get a grasp of how you can really identify your ideal niche, your ideal clients, who you really want to work with, and then really narrow that down to, if I only had a sentence to tell someone, what would be the most powerful and impactful and empowering sentence I could give them? And usually it's a transformational process. Like, hey, oh, you've got back pain? Oh, okay, cool. Then maybe if I work with back pain all the time, then maybe that's my ideal audience. So I would say something like, okay, great. I help people with back pain shift energy so that they get the relief that they're seeking, and also dig in deeper into how they can rework their lives and the way that they think and process and feel from their heart, so they no longer have back pain. I don't know how many words that was. It's probably way over 15. But take that to heart, because when you really narrow in on the ideal people that you want to work with and what you really want to be doing with those people, you will have those words. You'll find those words.
Yeah, it was too many words.
It was too many. But I don't really focus on people with back pain, so I don't even know why I said that. But
it's funny, but you have a teacher energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I always say the fact that anyone can talk, but who can communicate? You just vibe as a teacher. There's a lot of careers, but you vibe that way naturally. So it's just that kind of connection to go, yeah, but you're having to teach yourself along with sharing that knowledge for other people. And when they can see, okay, it's okay to help yourself, and you're actually listening to some of the information that you're sharing with yourself. Okay, so it's not just the old school, I'll help you and I'll just let myself go. It's, I feel like you've got a way to speak with people, not just to them. And when someone can feel like, okay, I'm not just a number, not just a product or service, you'd be like, right. That way it starts to open them up more, because I feel like you're ready for the healing modality. You're just trying to find a way to get into it. One, quit trying to find a way to get into it and just mentally be in it already.
And another exercise that I did at the very beginning of my practice was I would go to other people's websites that I liked, like some of my teachers. I would go explore websites of people just doing different modalities that I did, just to see what they wrote, how they wrote it, what I liked, what I didn't write. I didn't copy anything, but I said, I really like that message. That made me feel good when I read this. So that's another thing that I did as well, because it gave me lots of ideas.
That's really interesting, Jamie. You said the teacher, because my background is in education, but it's been a number of years since I've worked in that field. I felt like I had hit a plateau, and I felt like that really wasn't what I was here to do, although I enjoyed it. But right now, I'm in a situation where I know I'm on a life path that does not make any logical sense whatsoever. So it's been kind of stressful at times and has really challenged my faith. But I've seen a lot of amazing things happen over the last couple of years that I probably would not have experienced had I just had a regular, a stable income or a regular job. And recently, I decided to, just see, to apply for work. And as I was doing that, one of them called me back, and they had there was a process, and they called me in for an interview, and everything was going well, but something deep down in my gut was saying, that's not what you need to be doing. I felt like I was going back, and I had to ask myself, is that really what I want to be doing? So it's things like that I struggle with, right? Or something, those are kind of the things that I'm struggling with right now, doing what's logical, and then, or, following, your heart and really what you're meant to be doing. I feel like right now I'm just kind of in this, I think a lot of people are in this, there's a shift that's happening. And it's just, just resistance or just letting go and surrendering. And so that's been really tough. Yeah.
Well, and it's not easy. Just go with the flow. Like, yeah, no, we got to create our own flow in that way. But in addition, a lot of us as humans tend to live in a reactive state of experience rather than a proactive state. And what I mean by that is here's what we'll tend to do on average. If I have this job, then I feel successful. And if I have this amount of money, then I feel wealthy. And we'll wait for the outside physical manifestation of the job, the money to happen to feel successful and wealthy. When if you'll start feeling that way before it's anywhere in sight, you're now sending those vibrations of consciousness, co-creation, not manipulation, that will bring you more of the people, circumstances, and experiences matching what you think about. So if you're okay, because if you don't know exactly what you want to do, like I said, how do you want to feel from this? As you're talking about it, notice the emotional state that you're in. I love people. I love having them help themselves. That is you're just thinking about it. You're just talking about it, yet look at the emotional response. And the great thing is you're starting to read energy. Go, well, this sounds really good, but something's not feeling like I should. Okay, I'm going to question that. And the great thing is you're questioning it. It's not just complete blind faith. Always have that the best we can, but it's also, that feeling for me is what's the outcome? Otherwise, I could just feel all I want, but I have no end result. I'm always very practical with this spiritual stuff. It's all spiritual to me. So when we can be practical that way, and the good thing is you are practical. You've got the intelligence aspect with the spiritual loving energy. You're just now going to bridge that connection and unify it as one. People will come to you. They will be drawn to you.
Thank you so much.
You got it. Thanks for being you.
Yeah.
And please keep us posted. Let us know what's going on. If there's any insight that we can share, we'll always do that.
And thanks for being a healer in this world. It's
We need
so
more.
needed right now. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Beautiful. And
You
all
know-
she had to do was open up.
She's right. Yeah. What you said, she just has to open up.
Mhm. And the good thing is more people are getting frustrated enough to go, all right, click, okay. And so enough of that frustration creates an open receptiveness to something that could be better. I don't know what it is, but something's better. And so now you've just elongated that energy to go, well, it's going to be better. So in your reference to better, it's going to match that. This is, and how lucky. And it's like, yeah, there is no luck. It's that kind of connection for also, as I say, that divine timing. Really, is it? Because it's not easy to look back and go, yeah, sure, divine timing, until we do attain things. And then we can look back on our experience to go, oh, now I see why this did or didn't happen to get me to this point. And my thing is notice that you're able to look back with that insightfulness, give yourself the sightfulness before you even go, and you'll have more to walk into that you're wanting, that you accept as already having. I share the fact that for me, if you pray for anything from the universe, please give gratitude that you've received it already, because the universe is always for us and never against us. So I found for me that if I were praying for something, the universe is like, oh, Jamie, you see that as someday. You must have wanted someday. I'll keep it someday. I'd be like, when the frig is it going to happen? Act as though I am, and I will be. Because I wanted to make sure that I was not manipulating other people to get what I'm looking for. I don't need to do that. There's enough for everyone and so much more. But putting these practical tools and techniques, whatever they are, that you can put to the test and then get a result, now it's firsthand experience, not secondhand. Secondhand is lovely. Firsthand is solid. I have no choice but to go, I don't understand it. I just experienced it.
Things will materialize if you believe in them.
And then once they start materializing, you'll shift your belief system to a knowing system.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
Yeah,
okay, there's something to this.
Yeah, that was something I learned years and years and years ago. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, the music business is very, very weird. It's just like being a psychic in a way. I'm serious. It really, really is. I mean, especially when you're standing on a stage and that with a bunch of people, okay? Your brain has to listen to all of them, every single one of them singly, to be able to do your job, whatever you're doing. I happen to be a lead singer, but I was also a rhythm player at the same time. So I had that going. Plus, I had to know what everybody else was doing at the same time. And I mean, then you have harmonies and everything else. So all these things, if you take them all and you take that model and you put it into real life, I mean, real life, you listen to what's around you, you absorb what's around you. You take in what people are giving. They may not know they're giving it, but they're giving it. And you take that and you do something with it. In other words, you give it back. You show your gratitude for whatever they give you and things. And then this will just bring people together more. So if you want to talk about love, there's love.
And you'll attract more to love. Yes.
Exactly.
Vibrational match.
Everybody makes it so hard.
Well, if you don't understand it, it's called as Chi, my master guide puts it, it's the complexity of simplicity. It is simple. We just overanalyze it and complex it that we talk ourselves in or out of anything. You'll never fool yourself with those feelings of the soul.
You just touched it. That's what a lot of people do. They talk themselves out of something.
Yeah.
They overthink it.
Yeah. I don't have that problem. I was feeling it.
I'm going to say that, well, you don't think, but that's okay.
Funny, but true. But that's the case. And what I do, my aspect is you have to be very in tune with the bands and your members and all of that. For me, I just get to be myself and let the people give me that information. All I am is the messenger. But it's great when we can be able to orchestrate that, because I've got my own way of reading that I can open up, and their loved ones know who to come to.
Let's take it back to the basics. And people listen to music in their cars and everything else. So you guys were bopping around and on my music. Yeah. That's an old tape.
I love the funk, man. That was awesome.
Cool.
Remember when disco was very popular?
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty young. I don't remember when it was very popular.
And what do you say about that?
I turned into my now back in my day.
I started. Yeah, my parents listened to more like folk type of music. not disco. I didn't really get into disco until the 80s, and then I was listening to the late 70s disco.
Well, the beginning of disco, what you heard in the guitar player, what I played in the beginning of that, digga 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 digga.
Yeah, I
Like,
love that.
that was what more or less, how would you say it? It just blended right into disco because disco had the exact same lick. I did the same thing in disco. I guess we played disco for about a year before we turned around and said, that's it. I mean, we did rock and roll too. But I mean, you'd go into places and then somebody say, hey, do you know this one? Do you know that one or whatever? And yeah, we did them. But I mean, for a drummer, all it was bass and was a snare drum. That's it. Toom, 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 toom. And then every once in a while, and that was, that was the whole thing. So, I mean, it was so boring that it got us really, really crazy. But, I mean, let's face it, if you can play a whole song in 3 songs and 3 chords, forget it.
Yeah.
And with me sitting in the background going tiki 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 tiki.
You do that all the time, so
Yeah, one of these days, man, I'm going to take that thing out of the case and that over there, and I'll play it. But I mean, the guitar amp behind me is bigger than me.
We're
Right.
waiting whenever you would love to.
It's
That's
huge.
excellent.
I was doing it the other day, and I just to do what I used to do, and the window shook. So
Open the windows.
Uh-huh.
this is not a small amp.
Window shook.
Well, when we were on stage, you get a big stage, and that either the music in that is hitting you in the face from a monitor, or it's coming from behind. And we hated monitors. We wanted for voice, not for instruments. So our instruments were behind us, or in some cases, in that with stages, they were under us and shot up. So we heard up instead of the other way around.
Right.
And yeah, they were loud, but you learn how to not hear something. We all have great hearing right now.
What?
I mean, sometimes when I had some guests on it and I wanted to know if I was pushing buttons, I could hear their heartbeat.
Oh,
If you got
he's a vampire.
you got headphones on, I got you. Yeah.
Nice, very cool.
So I mean, it's weird stuff in that we grew up, and people, it all reverts back to what we're going through right now with the these, I don't know, I call them loose connections. There's so many connections out there that people can get together, talk, have coffee, get to know each other, blend in, be part of another person or something, and nobody uses any of it anymore. I mean, even in the morning, when I go down, the place that I go in the morning and stuff, and that everybody kind of sort of knows everybody. But I've been noticing lately, it's after the COVID-19 thing, people are very much apart from each other. That's another thing with Talk Now, with that show. People can get on there and say why they feel that way. It's it's on. They're going to be on Rumble and stuff, so nobody's going to censor you. Anything that you say, just like we have on these shows here, I will not. I've refused for the last 13 years. I've refused. I will not edit. That's it. Maybe the beginning, maybe the music gets screwed up and or something like that. I may chop a piece off there or there, whatever. But the show itself never ever gets touched. If somebody sticks their foot in their mouth, leave it there. It's crazy but true. And so many people say, well, you could this thing here could be this. Blah, blah, blah. I said, get out of my way. We just go.
Go bother someone else.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Because people that are listening to the show right now, this is the way they'd love to talk. And they could. All I have to do is call 609-663-0153, and you can get on here and talk just like we are. But the thing is, and you can also understand a little bit more about yourself, which is what we're actually going for.
Well, and I think you're bringing up a very interesting point. And for me, I've seen that over the past 3 years with this COVID stuff, people have gotten so secluded. They've become so withdrawn because for so many, you were going online or doing all of that stuff where they lost a lot of the connections to people. Because there were people that when they were having to wear masks, would be out and I'd be like, hi, how are you? They wouldn't. I'm like, really, you can't even acknowledge someone. So anyhow, it was very interesting because people became so secluded because I don't want to get any of those virus things or whatever was happening, so that they kind of left themselves alone. Now they're starting to open up to life again to go, where is everyone? Well, you had to kind of start finding yourself again. Bip, you find yourself within life, you begin to find that life within you and bring it to the surface of consciousness. I feel like that's what a lot of people are starting to reconnect with.
And momentum too.
Yep.
Yeah, nobody wants to get face to face with anybody. God forbid, come on, long time ago now, when you met anybody or you didn't see anybody for a while, something like that, you give somebody a hug or whatever, and no more. It doesn't happen anymore. Even shaking somebody's hand. I mean, and I find myself doing this all the time because I'm a terrible person. But I mean, it's not like I grab your arm or anything. It's like I take my hand to that, I almost put it through your stomach. Like,
that's called being pissed.
When you see my hand coming at you, of course you're going to go to grab it. Shake my hand, you know what I mean? But you wouldn't if I just gave you one of these wimp, hand, they wouldn't even go near you. Yeah, it's one of those things. So it's coming back, but not really. There was a guy the other day in a car, and he had the mask on, right? And God, it was so good. He had his windows open, and he was on my side.
Oh, shoot.
So I turned around and say, "Excuse me, would you tell me what time it is?" So the guy goes, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa." I said, "No, you got to take the mask off to tell me what time it is."
That was another thing. It became such a rambling energy. Go, what? Huh? What are you saying? So people started to not communicate so effectively because they didn't want to have to keep saying something or pull those masks down.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how things.
This guy was drinking Starbucks through a straw with his mask on at a red light. I'm like,
that's creative.
Oh yeah, with the little hole in the mask, the whole thing. Oh boy, I tell you. All by themselves too. I mean, who are they getting away from? And there it is again. It's the blockage of love.
Right.
Some people don't let it in. Sometimes it scares them. Well, I had another person that I loved a lot, and then boop, they were gone. So people are like, well, maybe I'll give you a little bit here, a little bit, and let's see. If you're going to, kind of stick around, then I'll share a little bit more with you. And they really want the loving sharing, but they're fearful of losing it because they can't control the other people. And they've been so secluded on average that they've got to find their own way through this. They've got to wake themselves up in any way.
And the amount of fear and anxiety that we all went through in the world, some of that we're still holding on to somewhere in our systems. And so that's something, this is why right now all the healers need to show up, is because there is massive anxiety and fear just to sometimes still leave the house. Or how do I make those connections? How do I open my heart again? How can I even walk through a room of people? And, when we work fairs, sometimes I'll be out working a psychic fair and I don't know how many people I've talked to. Like, this is the first social thing I've done, and I'm ready to go back home. I'm like, why don't you hang out for a little while? Like, why don't you say hi to a few people? Like it's going to be okay. Like, take a deep breath, settle in, let go of that mass amount of fear and anxiety, because it kind of piled on itself and compounded itself. And if there is any of that still left within our bodies, emotional bodies, spiritual, mental bodies, physical bodies, any part of our bodies, our beings, that needs to be transformed. That needs to be let go of or transmuted in some fashion, because that is a crippling energy. And when we're afraid, it's like fight or flight, or freeze, right? And we're seeing a lot of people not getting out because they've been frozen for so long at home, and they weren't able to fight because we couldn't even get close to each other. And, they either ran or they froze. And so now it's like, how do we get more harmony into those states of emotional processing that we've all been doing in different ways? So, little tidbit for our listeners today. I'm just going to throw it out here. If you have been anxious, mildly depressed or worried, you can hold your thumb. The left side will harmonize the past, the right side will harmonize the present and your lifestyle. If you've been afraid and feel like there's fear in there, hold your index finger. Just hang out.
What's
Again,
the name of that healing modality?
that's Jin Shin Jitsu. So, but we can harmonize energy within our systems. Even if we're feeling all these things, there's something that we can do about it. So reach out to a local healer or find someone that does Jin Shin Jitsu, or, call me on the phone or text me and say, hey, Maggie, what can I do for this? I'm like, why not? Because the thing about this is we are all healing from this globally. The more work that we can do on ourselves to feel good, to open our hearts again. Some of us are going to lead the way. Some of us are going to lead and follow. And some of us are going to be like, wait for me. And some of us won't move at all. But the thing is, if we can get some kind of movement, some energy movement behind all of this, we can heal and we can move forward and we can grow, we can expand, and then we can feel like we have our new life. And then we can find a new rhythm. And that's the other thing. We're all finding new rhythms. The old rhythms got ripped away. We don't have them. And we lived our life by them. We didn't even know we had rhythms that we lived our life by until they got taken away. So now we're finding new rhythms, and it's scary sometimes to not know what's a nice rhythm for me. When do I want to wake up? When do I want to leave the house? Do I want to leave the house? How do I want to leave this? Where do I want to go? Our rhythms are shot. And so we have to recreate this, but understand when you recreate rhythms, you're recreating an expression of who you are in every moment, in every breath of life. So have the courage. Hold your thumb, hold your index finger, hold all your fingers actually if you want to, and then go forward. They'll harmonize all different things, the whole being.
It's like, yeah, hold your fingers. I'm like, there's something to that stuff. It does work for myself as well. I don't want to speak from that, but
I was going to say it feels like Groundhog Day. Those rhythms. You know what I mean?
It can be.
I get up at 3 o'clock or 3:20. One of the two.
God.
And I got them based in those. And then, let me see. Go to 3. Okay, then I take out the dog. By the time I come back by the car with the dog, and it's about 4 o'clock, 4:05, somewhere in that ballpark. Then at 20 minutes after, and I swear to you, I'm religious on this, about 20 minutes after 4, I hit the shower. I'm out of the shower and out of the bathroom and everything at about 4:45. From that time until maybe 6, that's when I do all my research, all my radio stuff and everything. My brain is completely clean, clear, thinkable. That's what I can do on my writing and everything. I write these things and everything. This doesn't come. If I tried to write that at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, forget it. I've already got a cesspool of the brain.
But you found your rhythm. You don't do it at night because it doesn't work for you at night. So what do? In the morning.
You do it long enough, and then you think back at the movie Groundhog Day. It's like, hey, I'm doing this and you do the same. It's the same thing. Like I get the water for the dog, I get the treat for the dog, I get the coffee for me. It's like you put your lunch or wherever you're gonna do. I mean, it's like you do this instinct. Your instincts just tell you that, like, this is what you have to do, and your body does it all by itself. I don't even have to go like, it just does it all by itself.
Yeah, it's that autopilot. Because I always say, when you're trying to make things happen in life, that's kind of like trying to make your heart beat, your lungs breathe, and your stomach digest. And it only takes one to dip that you'll be messed up. But if you just allow it to be and let it be what it is, the heart beats, the lungs breathe, the stomach digests, and it's a natural occurrence. It is all we had to do was allow it to happen. We just sometimes will try to make things happen in a way to go, it's not working. Then quit trying to force it and allow it to happen.
My point is, like, okay, I may feel like it's Groundhog Day, which it probably is anyway. But I'm serious. I saw the little sucker sitting outside the door. Anyway, you think about that all the time. But now when you blend in with other people, their Groundhog Days are flipping over your Groundhog Days. And that's when you blend, and I mean, it's a blending of those energies. Same thing that you said about the energies in that before. The music that we played, okay, are all frequencies. Every single one of those frequencies have something to do with a part of our body, somewhere, somehow, whether it be a bass, bass guitar, rhythm guitar, rhythm, drums, bongos, whatever, all these things have something to do with a part of our body. You're happy because every single one of those frequencies are making every single one of your parts of your body, including your brain and every single one of your chakras, they are glowing. You get to the end of the night and you go, good night, or whatever. And it's like your whole body, you're on, I'm serious. It's like a drug. It's adrenaline plus. It's like you try to go to sleep. I swear to God, and this is like everybody listening right now, and no, I'm not a drunk, but at the end of the night, Jack Daniels and a beer. By the time I got back from wherever I was, even if we had to go to a hotel or something like that, and we were playing in who knows what stadium or whatever, but by the time that you got back and you were going to go to sleep, you could sleep. It put you down, and it let your body relax. Because when I was on that stage and I finished that show up, I felt like I stuck my finger in a in the plug.
Light socket. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the whole body's like,
Yep.
And you've just played for say maybe 2 hours, and you do this 4 or 5 days a week, and by the time that you get to the one day that you have off, you're sitting there going,
And that one day is like, I need at least 2, otherwise it's not enough.
Yeah, and the worst part is that when you're out or something, especially when we did the wrestling tours and things, it was funny because somebody would knock on, hey, you guys ready? And we'd be like, huh?
With a drink in your hand.
Oh no. We're talking at like I don't know, maybe 6 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, and you got to go to the airport to get the plane, and you haven't taken a shower, you haven't done anything yet. They'd always come like 45 minutes early because they knew damn right well you were not out of bed.
It's going to take, yep.
It's going to take a few minutes to do it. They drop off. They actually had a cart with coffee on it. They push it in the door.
Oh, shit. And run.
They're like, wake up.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't bad because the bass player and I had spent our time in it together in the rooms and that. But the lead guitar player, the bass, and the lead guitar player and the drummer were in their room, and they were nutcases. They really, really were. They made so much noise. They'd be screaming and yelling, and he'd be playing drums on the furniture and stuff. So I don't know. It was kind of crazy, Nick. But that was a time that I wish it could just everything that we felt then could spill over into today. So many people are down and everything else. Now we were like, what's next? What's coming up? What's today? What are we doing? Oh, bummer. Then what? It's
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and you weren't detracted by technology either, because
no.
your fun did not happen in your hand, on your phone, or on a computer, or on a video game. Your fun happened by getting your butt out the door.
Yeah. Or we had rock bands. You remember the player, the rock band player that you had with the you could put the tape in and put it on your belt or whatever, Okay.
Oh, the Walkmans, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, they had Rockmans that were that was exactly the same size, about square, like 6 by 4 inches or something like that, but it was a guitar amp or a bass amp in the thing. So you plug your guitar into that, put on the headphones just like you would anything else, and you could play. And if you had, say, a Rockman, you could plug that into the unit and play along with the music.
Nice.
Cool.
Or the recording that you did maybe of the show that you did, and you wanted to change something. You could plug it into that machine and you could do it. Everyone, even people listening, hi there, people listening, even the people that are listening can do exactly the same thing. They can plug their life into themselves, listen to it, and change it all by themselves. You don't even need me, Jamie, or Maggie to tell you how to change your life. You will call, though, to find out what your path is, isn't, could be, may be, or will be.
Beautifully said.
So that's why you're going to call. You're not going to call to change your life because you're going to do that all by yourself.
Yeah.
We're the ones that put the board on the side of the pool. If you want to jump in the pool, you get on the board and you jump and you dive in the pool. If you don't want to, you don't go on the board. You walk around the pool and think about how nice it would be if you did.
Nice.
And then go back to the board and give it a shot.
Let that be the catalyst of consciousness.
Exactly.
Start to
Exactly.
really think for ourselves.
Exactly. And I mean, I try to explain this to people this way, and they go, well, what if the pool's only 4 feet?
You learn how deep to dive.
I mean, I'm telling you, I dove in so many 4 foot. I mean, we got one here and that on the other side of this community thing here, and it's huge. It's like an Olympic pool kind of deal, you know. And on the 4 foot side, and that I do this like dive into it, straight into it. But people don't realize until after I dive that when I hit the water, I boil it over. I roll it out.
Smart.
I never touch the bottom. It's 4 foot. I'm 6 foot. I never touch the bottom.
Wow. Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
On the eighth side, I usually go down to the bottom, stand up, and go,
And wave, yes.
and then go to the top, you know, or
Very
something.
cool.
So I mean, I'm serious. I mean, we have such unbelievable lives. We can preach, we can tell people that how to run their lives and everything else and that, but you know, just to tell people about our lives and what we do in our lives and allow them to try it.
Yes.
Do it.
Try
I mean,
it.
don't jump in the 4 foot pool. Don't be stupid. I mean, I learned how to do that in a 3 foot long pool. I mean, no, my mother had a 3 foot high pool in our backyard.
Sure.
You know, these big ass ladder.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Ladder was like 2 foot over the water.
That's
So
your
I was
diving board.
Yeah, so I was gonna like jump in that, and my mother would turn around and say, "You know, you're gonna kill yourself doing that." Well, so one day I actually dove in. She almost had a heart attack.
Oh God.
I really did. I really did dive in and curl the thing and then over. But then what did she do in a case like that? The next year she bought a 4 foot pool.
And then you could perfect it.
Notice how things can
Oh, yeah.
change just by
Oh,
one
yeah.
action.
Yeah. Even when I had my house that in New Milford, New Jersey, and that for the kids and everything else, and that I got one of these big decks, and I built this deck that went like 1/3 of the pool around it, so that their dogs jumped in, they jumped in, their neighbors jumped in, everybody jumped in. It wasn't like a ladder, like everybody would have a heart attack or something. You know, these people just fell in the water. You know.
Very cool.
But hey, you know, we did some crazy things. But you guys, let's go back to you guys here for a second. Your witch videos.
Oh, The Goddess, the Witch, and the Womb. It's a podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, I am going through that, and they're amazing. I mean, they really, really are. I mean, I listen to them in the car. I plug them into the, I download it into the phone. I plug it into the car, and I'm telling you, I am enjoying myself.
They're fun, aren't they? They're a little bit of historical facts, weaved into how you can reclaim your divine feminine, how you can heal with ancestral healing.
Well,
And
I'm not looking to do any women's dead.
well, no, I mean, you're healing too. You have divine feminine energy.
Oh, my baby, I'm not doing it.
You're doing it. You just don't know. Yeah, it's a cool podcast. It's really fun. It's absolutely, it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And it's
interesting.
very witchy.
Yeah, like 90% of what they share, I'm like, really? Huh? I do this all day long. I'm not aware of that kind of information. Fascinating.
Yeah, some of the things I've never heard of before. There was a couple
Mhm.
of things. I think it was a couple of shows ago, though, and I was looking it up on Google. What the hell is she talking about?
Did you find something?
Yeah, I did. What I did I forget what the answer was, but whatever it was, I satisfied myself.
Nice.
Nice.
Look,
With
you
the
found
Google-
enough interest
with
in
Google.
that. Yeah. that's
Thought provoking. We love that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was like I look for answers, and now Jamie, for years and years and years, has been talking the same way he is now, and every single thing that he says, you can go back to every single show that we've ever done, and I've been through many of them again, just to listen. the information is the same but better as as the years that go on.
Nice.
I don't know whether it is, I mean, you just explain it a little differently, or it's not a direct answer. It's kind of sort of a curveball in a sense. Like here, like if you want it, catch it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything. Share it, but don't force it.
Exactly. And I mean, seriously, people who are not listening to these shows or not downloading the podcast or anything are out of their freaking mind. Excuse me for saying it, because these things are so good. You know, when you make me feel good, you came a long way.
Awesome.
Really did. Because you can ask Diane here. She does the media stuff. I have nothing. She goes, you have no soul.
You just needed something that really was interesting, you know?
Revived you. Yeah.
I'm serious. I mean, there are very, very few things that make me jump up and down. You know, I mean, like for instance, if I'm on the guitar and I get a good tune going, get out of my way.
Nice.
Don't even think about it. But if it's no good, I put the guitar down and say, I'll see you later.
But see, knowing when to do it and when not to, not forcing it, but working with it, creating it.
Exactly.
It's beautiful.
So I
Find
mean,
your rhythm, man.
we got some really, really good things that going, and I'm quite sure that I'm going to see if you die, or if you actually, you know what, if anybody wants to write me, try this, because there was an absolute, I totally blew everything out of the mailbox of it. Bob Charles at USA.com. We're doing this because people are calling me and writing me about everything from politics to crystal skulls. Because there's a couple of crystal skulls in that all of a sudden have activated.
Oh, I got a chance to connect with the Mitchell Hedges crystal skull.
Right.
That was freaking amazing.
Yep.
Amazing.
And the thing is, we have all this stuff in it going on right now. And I love getting the mail and writing back to people, because half of the stuff in shows that we've done before, you can, I mean, I can send them a show. You know, if I got the show, I can send them a show. If there's something that they want to know about something in it, I'll tell them who to listen to, who to go right to, because I've talked to the person.
Yep.
And there were a couple of people, like for instance, that guy that's a psychic. He heard of us from somebody else who heard of us from somebody else who heard. I mean, 13 years, man, you get around.
Word travels. Yep.
Yeah. So people, like for instance, like in Russia, they're still listening. They didn't cut them off yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Russia University, either they do the podcast or if they have time, they listen to it live. But right now, they're sleeping.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've done some early shows in that too, and that they actually did listen to it live, but they put it on, their little recorder, whatever they use on their phone or whatever, and they when they're studying or something, they put it down and they listen to it, and they say it's a blast.
I appreciate all that you do and the information and knowledge that you're sharing with people. That's beautiful. Thank you.
You got to get personal with people. Too many people don't. You know what I mean? It's like they blame
Sometimes they're afraid to.
Them instead of saying, hey, listen, I have something to offer you. Listen to what I say. If you like what I say, good. If you don't,
Right. Yeah. Right. Let them have the empowerment of choice. What's vibing with them? They'll know. They'll know if it connects with them or not. Otherwise, that's lovely. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, I feel like that's speaking to my soul.
We got one guy in the morning, and that he actually went and bought himself a car. Because I told him, if you even park near my van, I will move the car with the van. That is a piece of crapola, and you've got to get something better. And I told him, I said, look, you just go get one of these. Go and get one of these. And he said, well, what do you give him one car for? He says, just go get one of these. And it was a Kia. And he's the kind of guy that he likes like small cars, things like that. And there is a Kia that's kind of small. I said, make sure you get one that's pretty, up to this date or something like that, but something you can afford. And he says, no, I don't want to, like my car and everything else. Well, it's now been 3 months. All of a sudden, he comes in the parking lot this morning, and then I'm coming in the parking lot, and he goes, hey, look what I got. I was like, oh, he even got it in my favorite color.
Oh,
nice.
So I was like, see, I rubbed in on somebody, and I felt so good, for a change.
And you gave him a chance to think about it, to even open up to that. Like,
I forced them.
all right.
I forced them.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's beautiful.
if the boy was in New Jersey, the police would have towed the thing away with him in it.
Yeah. Oh, God. Right. Yep.
I'm serious. I mean, that's, down here in Florida, I mean, they don't do those kind of things. They just let you, the whole thing just fall apart. You're sitting there with the steering wheel in your hand.
Yeah. Kind of like life for the average.
Yeah,
I still got a hand on the wheel, but I don't know where the frick it's going. Yeah.
I used to hate it up in New Jersey because they used to do with all this green stuff that's coming out, climate change and everything. Climate change, my butt. You know, it's with all these things that are going on in Jersey, right? When you do an inspection on your car, they inspect everything. The one thing they do is they stick that thing up your exhaust pipe of your car and they go, well, you know, you got too many emissions and this, that, and the other thing. And then they go to your gas cap and they take the gas cap and they stick in this hole, this machine, and they find out whether the cap is leaking or not. So I got a guy one time. I bought 2 caps and one cap was there forever. So I was like, okay, I was cool with that. The guy says, well, you know, your cap and everything else. So I took out the brand new one in the cap, in the package. And I said, I'll bet you my registration that this is just as bad as that. And he didn't know, right? So he goes, yeah, well, he says, you know, that's a brand new one. That's I don't have to test that. I said, well, yes, you do. So I opened the thing up and I put the thing on the gas tank and I start the car up, boom, 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 get the thing going. You know, get some gas smell going where it's going, everything else. The guy puts it in the machine and he goes, oh, it reads the same. I said, because you rigged the whole thing in that. This whole thing in that is so you don't have to give us our registration. We have to pay more for the registration. So that's why you did it. And this was brand new, still in the unsealed, sealed up in a box. So I went into a supervisor. I told the supervisor. And they gave me the thing for nothing.
Good.
For nothing.
I'm happy.
I said,
Right.
get out of here. Get out of here. Go away.
Yeah.
Then I said, look, I said, you guys have said doing this. I knew there was nothing wrong with my car because I tuned it. And I'm particular.
Yeah.
And I'm as crazy as I am in here with these things as I am with my car. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I got tools. I can take out a spark plug.
That's great, man. I'm like, I got to get gas. I need a new vehicle.
I also have AAA, so when something happens to the car, like I needed a battery or something, you didn't tell me about the battery. That was your fault. You told me last time. But the battery, when I turned the key and the car goes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I said, something wrong here. So I called AAA. I said, would you come and put in a black battery, please?
Beautiful.
So yeah, you get older, you get lazy.
Yeah, but having those lifelines of connection that in different ways, not only just one thing, but in a variety of aspects, and our ability to be proactive the best that we can to bring those people and experiences together in life. First, we had to get our own way as the bigger picture, whatever it might be. Then we might be able to share it with others if they're even interested. And sometimes, someone just needs to hear it differently to go, okay, I've heard that crap 1,000 times, but click. That's the first time I see it that way. And I'm like, good, and question everything and let me know how it goes. They usually come back going, I did it. I'm like, frickin' A, congratulations. And what else do you want to do? Because if the approach ain't broke, don't fix it. You just manifest. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, it can be that easy. Doesn't have to be all working hard.
I say it a billion times, Ned. All we have to do as human beings is get off our big fat and go do it. Whatever it is.
Right.
Do
individually it. For us. Yes.
Yeah. Make it your, come on, man. It's your life. Make it your life.
Yep. Live for you and with others.
You can make it any way you want. Like too many people that turn around. Like, this is one thing that I hear more than, as much as love. Money. Nobody can get enough money. Money make me happy. I said, no, money will not make it. I said, you could have billions, trillions. You could have anything. Not going to make you happy. I said, yeah, but I can do this and I can do this. I said, yeah, but what do you get out of it? You do these things. You expend your money to do something, to get something, to receive something, to feel something. But do you really feel it?
That's just the different energy of energy exchange.
Yeah.
Just people put the price tag on it. Like, okay.
Groundhog Day on what's this? On adrenaline.
Yeah, huh? start to get those patterns like, okay, I'm seeing this before. Now, if I like it, I'll keep going. If not, I'm going to change it because I have.
Sounds like baloney.
Always good, brother. Always fun.
Oh yeah. I love doing this stuff.
Yeah. Thanks for all that you do. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't like me.
Hey, at least we got to do the episode, man. I wasn't sure if it was going to be working for us or not, which is beautiful. Having faith.
And fun.
Yes.
Well, let's do this. Or not. Good old Skype. I love it. Anyway, we're out of here. Everybody's been here. Everybody's been listening. Everything else. God bless you all.
Awesome.
Love
and light.
Out.